The one they're doing, like, listen to it.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so I want to read the halakha we started last time again, just because we kind of read it fast. So this is in 7 Daled, right? This is at the bottom of the first page there. Sorry, oh, because we had a little bit of progress on this last night, perhaps. So you need to start with degradation and end in praise. Here's the question: degradation of what and praise of what?
One thing again, say.
Yeah, but what would you say based on what we read last time before we reread it?
Degradation of God.
Okay.
But based on what we did last night.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even thinking of that, but all right. Let's read it and keep in mind. Ketat maskil umasaber shebatchila hayu avosenu b'mei terach umilfan of kofri metoin achrei hevel b'rodfin avodah zara. So we begin and tell that in the beginning our fathers in the days of Terach and before him were deniers, and we said that seems to be not kofrim b'Torah because there was no Torah, and the other way the Rambam uses the word kofir is kofir b'ikr, which is deniers of God. Yeah. V'toin, and they erred achrei hevel, after nothingness, v'rodfin avodah zara, and they chased avodah zara. Those are 3 interesting phrases there. Could we just think about that? Oh, actually, let's read the parallel. U'masayim b'das emes, and we conclude with a true religion. Shekervanu hakadosh baruch hu la, that God brought us close to it. V'hivdilanu min hatoim, and separated us from the strayers. V'kervanu liyechuda, and brought us close to his oneness.
I said there is no parallel.
There's no parallel.
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Well, in a certain sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
In terms of one is the reality and one is not.
Okay, I think there's a parallel.
No. I meant in a particular sense.
You know what?
I meant in a certain sense. I don't think.
I think it's more particularized, but
Well, yeah.
whether or not there is a parallel, let's figure out what these 3 phrases mean for each clause. I think just to figure it out. Kofin I understand, and rotin avodah zara I understand. Toin achrei hevel, what is that doing there?
I mean, that's all. He brought him in a token.
It's a different word also. Yeah. Just to point that out explicitly, to'eh with a tet means err, and to'eh with a tav means to stray or wander. They're similar, obviously, but it's not the same word.
I said bad Gusa.
Yeah.
I mean, it does seem like there is a parallel between these 3.
Yes. How do you characterize it?
Or
like how would you talk about it?
Yeah, like 1 to 1, I guess.
Yeah. Which one corresponds to which one?
Yeah, there'd be like Kofrim with das and s.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah. And then Toma or Hevel would be Iyun.
Yeah.
And then Roto Avodah Zara is
Yeah, so I think it's the opposite.
Oh yeah, I didn't put it on.
I think kofir is the opposite of yichud Hashem, and I think das ha'emes is the opposite of avodah zara.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So kofir. So in other words, he's isolating 3. And by the way, this is not just an idle question. No pun intended. Okay. I really didn't intend that. But in order to talk about this, like this is a halakha and Sipur, so we need to be able to understand what exactly was the nature of the degradation and what was the nature of the shevach, and he's splitting it for us into 3 categories. So I think we actually do need to understand this, like as nuanced as possible. Yeah.
So I don't know what the middle one is for each thing.
Yeah.
It's sort of an idea, and then something, and then practices.
Yeah, idea, something, and practices. Yeah, I think so also. The something is interesting though. Yeah. the middle is interesting. Yeah, so let's just spell it out. The kofir, so you're kofir in God, meaning you deny his existence, which again, God's existence, his oneness, I think in terms of this context are all like wrapped up in one another because they're all the same thing, even though technically speaking, he used kofir only for violating Anochi Hashem Elokecha, not Yichud Hashem, but it's still an ikr, yeah. And also just what's the pshat, I think we covered this earlier in the year in different words. What's the pshat of kervanu li yichudo? Brought us close to his oneness.
We can't fully grasp
because you can't fully grasp it. You can only approach the idea of God oneness by negating multiplicity and plurality. So it's that's so you can be a kofar in God with absoluteness, but you can only be brought close to his oneness.
Cool.
And then
Sorry, just to clarify, we're comparing this Halacha to the Halacha before it?
no, we're comparing the so we got in Halacha you have to start with degradation and end with praise, and then he says, what is it? Degradation is in the days of Korach and Terach and before him, they were kofar, tohen acharei hevel, rotin rozara. That's the degradation, and then we conclude with three other elements: data emes, kirvan al kadosh baruch hu, kivdilam min atoim, and kirvan liyichuda. And we're just trying to understand the relationship between those first three things and the second three things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
I mean, toin, hivdilam min hatoin in the Shavach part sounds like a societal or cultural thing, that he separated us from the other people in the world who are straying from God or straying from from the truth or whatever.
Also, it sounds like that's like or like a harmful lifestyle, or like at least a not beneficial lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like in terms of how these ideas and lifestyles affect us,
Right.
and as opposed to just them. As opposed to like the idea of God and like avodah zarah and worshiping God, like das emes. So like this is like the middle thing is like how it makes sense. Yeah. That we're going for. He brought us toward like a beneficial. lifestyle.
Where are you seeing that in, or what?
Yeah.
I see.
And yeah,
Mhm.
like straying. Yeah.
Yeah. So what maybe we have to figure, what is the hevel according to everyone's understanding here?
That not the I guess.
Not
Yeah, that's my question is not the avodah zarah itself and
Well, the lifestyle that comes.
say one more time.
I'm saying like this is like
Yeah.
and then or I have like
So I think we actually have to be specific when we say avodah zarah, because you're saying avodah zarah is the practices and the behaviors, or avodah zarah is the belief in the false gods. Right. Yeah. Because
I think
Yeah.
yeah, because the way let me articulate the way I'm seeing it, and I'm still not sure whether there are differences or what the differences are. Kofaring means they deny the true God. Rodin avodah zarah is talking about they chased after the practices and the religion of avodah zarah, and I would say toin acharei hevel means that they believed in false gods.
Right. Okay.
And I admit I'm not getting that entirely from the Rambam. I am getting that from Yirmiyahu of Yelchu acharei hevel v'yehebalu, and that's talking about other gods, like that they stopped trusting in Hashem and they put their trust in nothingnesses. Nothing, hevel is nothingness, right? So that's the false gods. And so it was two things really. It was the fact that they embraced a false belief system, and they also had a religion that had its own like degrading elements of like child sacrifice and like the sexual practices and all this other stuff and superstition and yeah, that's why I'm saying we have to differentiate when we say avodah zarah. I see avodah zarah is avoda.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I thought you were saying the hevel is the avodah zarah.
No, sorry. Hevel is false gods.
Yeah, but it's also the child sacrifice.
No, maybe I just said the wrong thing. Avodah zarah is the religion, is the behaviors. Avodah zarah corresponds to das, which is the legal systems and the practices. Yeah, hevel's the ideology. Yeah, or the.
How is that different than kofar?
Because kofar is denying God's existence.
Okay.
And you can believe in God and worship false gods. Like Bnei Israel did that for thousands of years, I'm not saying I'm not permitting you to do that. I'm saying that one could do that and it wouldn't be a contradiction, but he's saying that they did both. They had forgotten, like when the Rambam describes the descent and the development or the devolution of Avodah Zarah, there was a period at which they only worshipped God, then they worshipped the intermediaries, then they worshipped the intermediaries and believed in God, and then they forgot God and were just worshiping the intermediaries. So kofir is its own degradation because you are completely disconnected from the truth of God's existence. Going off right hevel is a different layer because you're attaching yourself to false deities. And then Avodah Zarah is a different level of degradation because you're involved in a religion that promotes, immoral and distorting behavior.
I see.
There's another Yirmiyahu thing I'm remembering now. Also, it's actually in the same parak. Is when he says, is there, no, I fell for it again. This is not enough. If you want, I'll just get on here. It's only 2 seconds. And hold on.
If you're not
I don't wanna be-
ignorant,
Oh yeah, yesterday's yeah. Yeah, this is good peer pressure.
you need to know.
Well, could be in the Haftorah, perhaps.
It is,
Oh.
but I don't know which Haftorah. Yeah, you mean out of second parak, I think. Just I have to find it. Hold on.
It's random.
Wow.
You can move.
So much food. No.
Oh my. Oh, you know what else is misleading? I found out. I was trying to look at Hilchos coming to matzah. So I finally looked for Hilchos coming to matzah, and I could have sworn that there were 3 sefer zmanim. Okay. And I looked in it and it didn't make any sense. So check this out. These spines are the same, but one of them is volume 2 of 3, the other one's volume 3 of 3.
Wow. That's
It just
What?
misprinted. Like this one starts off with Hilchos Shvisot Yom Tov. So this is the true 2 of 3. And this one starts off with Hilchos Shofar Suk of Lulav and then ends the thing. Yeah, we should correct it. It's just I only noticed it today. So it's just a totally misprinted cover.
Oh my gosh.
See, even the covers have misprints. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, was Kava saying that's the source of the word doofus?
No, he wasn't. That part's the part that either I made it up or Jake Adler made it up. I don't know, but I think it's a good parallel. It's good Russia. Yeah. So Yirmiyahu 2:12. Oh, sorry, 2:13.
1074.
Wow.
And you're not even using the complete Tanakh, right?
This is not complete.
That's not complete.
Oh, you're finding
That fell
the
apart
same
during my lifetime, and then someone bound it. I guess someone was like doing a bookbinding thing, and yeah, it's missing some sparring.
It doesn't have mixed line.
Oh, there you go.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
And I did not just steal it and like put it in my apartment. Yeah,
Wait, to what?
2:13. Parak 2. Yeah,
It's only missing like 10 through.
only one puzzle, by the way. What Haftarah is it now that we're here?
So, later on in the parak, it's Haftarah. It's the Haftarah for Parshas Masay.
Oh, okay. So this is not Haftarah?
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was.
This is awesome.
Wait,
Yeah.
on the page also, it says
Yeah.
Haftarah Masay for Ashaz and Teens below. Except it's still a single.
2:13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Ishayim Raos Azami. Okay. 2 evils my people did. This is Hashem talking, or Yirmiyahu talking in the name of Hashem. Osi Azvu, Makor Mayim Chaim. Me they abandoned. Me Hashem, they abandoned Hashem, the source of flowing waters. Lachtov lahem boros, to dig for themselves cisterns. Boros nishbarim asher lo yichilu hamayim, broken cisterns that don't hold water. So so he is actually saying it's 2 different rachos, meaning is abandoning God and going after Avodah Zarah. So let's say, for example, we see people today who are atheists, which plain shot, I mean, unless you broadly define atheist, you're abandoning God, but you're not going after Avodah Zarah.
Right.
And then there were people in the time of Tanakh that went after Avodah Zarah, but they also worshiped God. That was what Eliyahu was criticizing of, like, how long are you going to jump between 2 fences?
how else do you define atheist?
People, I mean, people. I mean, it is.
That's Jordan Peterson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could define it as that they are engaging in some form of worship. That you know, like that they're gonna have something close. Yeah, I think it's not the what do you call it? It's not the strict definition of atheism, but I've heard people try to say there's no such thing as being atheist. Meaning you're gonna deify human beings, you're gonna deify the random number generator that is responsible for multiverse. You know, you're gonna do something like that, and you just are not calling it a god because you don't want to look religious. But yeah. So anyway, that's the I think that's like the way I'm trying to approach this with the Kofrin is Osi Azvu, and then Kohen Akhrei Hevel is digging the cisterns that are broken and can't hold water, and then Rotin Avodah Zarah is all of the religion of Avodah Zarah that they chase, and then with God we conclude with the Datsa Emes, which is the antidote to the Avodah Zarah. And then Kirvan Kosh Baruch Hu God brought us close to it. I don't know why he says close to the true religion. Maybe because of the Rabbah who can't really understand Torah. And he separated us from those who stray. That is removing us from the people who fall prey to erring after Hevel. That's separating us from the Mitzrayim, etc. And then brought us close to his oneness is rectifying the Kofrin problem. Yeah.
What?
Why is it reversed? It's a good question. Yeah. I mean, it's a good question. I mean, what I'm inclined to say, I don't know if this is true. I'm just gonna say it and see what happens. It's in no, it's not. Never mind. I'm not gonna say.
Maybe it's a misprint. I mean, they said that.
Yeah, but we're using the good editions though. Can't have misprint because then where do we put our security? Yeah.
In the multiverse generator.
Oh no, that's the worst. It's also the best. It's also everything. Yeah. I don't know what's in the first order, but I think that makes the most sense though.
Well, it could be like the process of like evolving into it, and then the like progression of like.
That's what I was going to say, and I stopped myself because I realized that the Kofrin did not occur first. It started off with Avodah Zarah, because I was building temples to the other things as like intermediaries. Then it went to Kohen Akhrei Hevel. Then it went to Kofir. And then it's the most important thing, but it doesn't mean that it's the first thing. Meaning, I think you can make the argument that the religion of Judaism is more important, goes a lot further than the idea of Yichud Hashem. In other words, forcing a people to say Kriya Shema twice a day is really what preserves the idea of Yichud Hashem in the nation. Whereas like just correcting their beliefs doesn't really like last very long, you know? Yeah.
Maybe you could say it's from Mosfinus to Mosheva.
Oh, that would be a good approach to try out. Let's try that. So Kofrin is definitely the worst gnus.
Yeah, the worst thing is that you're denying God.
Yeah.
Then believing in other
that makes sense.
Yeah, close second.
Yeah.
And then the actual practices are very bad. They're not
as bad as
not
the
as bad as
actual
the actual belief.
denial. Yeah.
Then there's like doing the practices of Torah,
Which is a good first step.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's
Yeah, that's a good shot.
it's like rejecting Avodah Zarah, and then coming to after the actual.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. Yeah.
First off, what does gnus mean?
Degradation or disparagement or like bad thingies.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And then what makes this the right version? Like, how do we know this is the right version?
Oh, now you're. Yeah. Okay. So the Rambams that we're using, there are different editions of the good Rambams, but this is the thing that I printed there comes from this, and this one uses all of the authoritative manuscripts and notes when there's a discrepancy among the authoritative manuscripts. Because some of them, the most authoritative one is the is the Sefer Hamuga, which means the critical edition of the Rambam that the Rambam himself signed off on with his hand and read through and said that everything is correct. The only problem is that that is not on all of the Mishnah Torah. It's on Sefer Amada, and I think it's on Sefer Ahava also, but I always forget that.
That's it.
It is a lot, yeah. But I'm trying to see the key here. Hold on a second.
Right that you forgot.
Okay, hold on. We need to do this as a separate thing, right? Like walk through. Yeah, after Pesach. Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just say there are different critical editions that this is based on a compendium of, and they note when there's discrepancy between the different critical editions, but the general pattern is that the critical editions will all be on the same page in terms of like noting what was added later on. You know,
And-
these are like older editions.
And just for myself, what is it like? What edition is this? What is it called?
This particular one is the Rambam Mavur Umaduyak, I think, but it's from this Mifal Mishnah Rambam, which is the Rambam publisher. That I think
Cool.
they also publish the Kopik one. They also publish, but
Okay.
yeah. And Mechon Mamre is the online one that they quote here. Mechon Mamre is the best online version, and when there's a mem by something, that's Mechon Mamre.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, much more general. We also start and make known that we were slaves to Paro in Egypt and all of the evil that they did to us. And we conclude with the miracles and wonders that were done for us and with our freedom. This is that we expound from Arami Ovid Avi until we finish the entire parsha. Well, let me show you a question on this now that you all have Tanakhs because you're scholars. Look up the parsha, which is Dvarim Vav. I believe that's in Kisavo.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's on the.
Vav, yeah.
Which is
Pavi.
488.
Ooh,
Ah.
look at that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So this is the context here. I feel like we should read this just to get the context. So starting from the beginning of the parak. Oh, this is the very beginning of Kisavo. Yeah, that's how I know it. When Hashem, it'll be when you come into the land that Hashem your God gives to you to inherit as an inheritance, and you inherit it and you settle in it. You shall take from the first of all the fruits of the land, that you bring from your land, that Hashem your God gave you, and you shall place it in a basket. And you will go to the place that Hashem will choose to make his name dwell there. That's the Mikdash. You'll come to the Kohen who will be in those days. And you'll say to him, Higarti Hayom. So that's one explanation that people give for why we say this as Sipur, because it is the only place where Sipur is described as Hagadah. Okay. I don't know if that's.
You got it to the Mincha?
No, but that's not Sipur. It's Mitzrayim. That's not like a detailed like Sipur. This is like telling the whole story. Yeah. So Higarti Hayom literally means I have told, or I've declared, or I've testified. What is the All Torah translation translated as? Let me click on this. Hold on. They translate it as declare. Yeah, declare, make known, expound, tell, announce, report, publish, declare, proclaim, avow, acknowledge, confess. Yeah, I mean, we do call this the vidui bikurim, right? Yeah, it's weird. Repeat the you on that earlier in the year.
Avow is a good.
Avow, yeah. But just the problem is no one uses that word in English, though. You like Nedarim, yeah.
Oh no, it's not a vow.
I know, but that was the joke, though, that you like Nedarim. So, Ivasi al haaretz asher nishba Hashem lavosenu lasas lanu. I have come to the land that Hashem has sworn to our fathers to give to us. Okay, so that's what he says. Then, and you shall place it the Kohen will take the basket from your hand and place it before Hashem, before the Mizbeach of Hashem Elokacha. Now here's where we get to the Pesukim. The Anita ve'amarta lifnei Hashem Elokacha, you shall answer and say before Hashem your God, Arami Ovid Avi. How do you guys like translating Arami Ovid Avi? Because that's a whole...
Depends how we're feeling the night of maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, you can debate it. You can duke it out then, but...
My father was a wandering.
Yeah, right. So that's, I think, the classic way to do it. My father was a wandering Arami. And then the other way, I think, is an Aramean tried to destroy my father, right? That's Arami, there would be Lavan. And Oved means to destroy or kill. And you have to add in the words like he made an attempt on his life. Yeah. And I think some people want to say that this is something else also. I don't know. The Yered Mitzrayimah, and he went down to Egypt. So these are the psukim that we read. So we darshan 5, 6, 7, okay, and 8. Where does the parsha end?
You'd off the last one.
Yud Aleph is the last one. Yeah, so that's the interesting thing, right? Is we don't go to the end of the parsha. And Ram says Ad Shiyum or Kol Parsha, right?
Yeah, so
we don't read. So the last thing we read in the Hagadah is at the end of Ches, Osos Uvmosim, but then we don't read Vayivi'inu El Hamakom Hazeh Vayitim Lanu Es Aretz Hazos Eretz Zavas Chalav Dvash. Ve'ata Hine Vehevesi Es Reshis Priha Demasher Nathata Li Adashem V'hinachta Lifnei Adashem Elakacha V'yishtach V'yisa Lifnei Adashem Elakacha. Yeah.
I mean, it kind of makes sense why you wouldn't read that part.
It definitely makes sense why you wouldn't read Yud.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
Yeah.
Okay. The Ata.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Test sounds like it's the conclusion of the story, right?
Yeah,
That God brought you into the land.
yeah. It's a transition back to what's going on now.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Rabbi Yevish on that once, but I don't remember what he said. Just want to point out the
Yeah.
question.
I think he said that I actually lived there.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
He said
Oh, I
that,
was not screen sharing. Whatever. Yeah.
that like the whole story is about
Hmm.
and that it's not about like going to the land, like that would take away from focus. It's
Yeah.
about the story of the
Yeah. That definitely makes sense. I guess the question then more is on the Rambam. Why does he have to say Ashigim or Kol Parsha?
well, yeah, all the relevant parts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could define it and say he's not talking, because Parsha, strictly speaking, is the divisions in the Torah. You could say that he means like the Parsha of Sipur or something like that. Or the Parsha, yeah. Yeah. Just want to point out.
In terms of like the person talking, there's like another two psukim of that.
Yeah, right. And then when the Rambam says V'chol Mosif Umarach B'drash Parsha Zohar Zeh Meshubach, so I always wonder, I mean, I assume that means the more you talk about it, but does like, what else would be a kiyum? Like, for example, if you, so we said this is from the Hilchos, I think, if you bust out a Midrash Rabbah Midrash Rabbah, and you read drashos, like, does that automatically count because you're darshaning it, or does it have to be like in the Indian of Yetzias Mitzrayim, or if you make up your own drashos, like, like what's the structure of this? Because when you say about Sipur that you should tell it in your own language, that's kind of defined by telling it however you want. Right. But mostly Mark Badrash Parta Zo, what is that? Yeah, I don't have an answer. Well, look at the guy on the side. The footnote. He does. The footnote guy quotes the pasuk Vayivin al Makom Hazeh.
Well,
but that's not in the Rambam's Hagadah, I don't think.
weird.
That's odd. It's in your packets also, but I think it's in your packets. That was Old West orange.
I'm not stopping.
But father was a wandering.
Yeah, it says Osos Muslim, then Davar Afar, then we're coaching in their sources of army.
Yeah, right.
It's like he stopped at the same place.
Yeah, and weird.
That's at our place.
Yeah, at our place. Yeah. I've never heard any Hagadah that has goes on there. Except for this guy. Okay, next halacha. Sorry. See, I filled it in. Lo yasi de chavaso. Yeah, anyone who doesn't, yeah, oh no, I'm just as bad. Anyone who doesn't say,
You didn't write down. So.
that is right. Anyone who did not say these three things on the night of the 15th has not fulfilled his obligation of Elohim, and these are they: Pesach, Mata, Umrorim. Yeah, Pesach, Mata, and bitter herbs. Pesach al Shem shepasach hamakom baruch hu al bati avsein b'Mitzrayim. Oh, so this is another discrepancy between Ashkenazic Haggadahs and the Rambams is al Shem. Rambam says al Shem, and we say al Shum, I think. And the Rav has a thing on this that al Shum means because, and al Shem means it is named after. So the question is whether you are giving, when you say each of these three things, are you explaining why we do Pesach, Matzah, and Maror, or are you like explaining the name of it? I think that was the Rav's svara, but I don't know. Plain shot, I think you're just explaining why we do it, but
yeah, it's weird to explain the name of it, what was named after, but not why we do it.
Yeah. And this is a weird thing also here. The Rambam gives the full thing for Pesach, makes it a little bit more concise by Maror, and in Matzah he's just like, eh. And he says, Pesach al Shem shepasach hamakom baruch hu al bati avosim b'Mitzrayim. Pesach, because of the fact that God skipped over the houses of our fathers in Egypt. Shneimar v'amartem zevach Pesach hu l'Hashem. And it says this is a Pesach offering to Hashem. Umrorim al Shem shemeru hamitzrim et chai avosim b'Mitzrayim. More on the fact that the Egyptians embittered the lives of our fathers in Egypt, that he doesn't quote a pasuk here. Matzah Hashem shenigalu. Matzah because we were redeemed.
They're getting if I really wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying he's shortcutting it because in the actual Hagadah, you quote the pasuk and give the explanation for each one, like he did for Pesach here, but he just doesn't do that here. What was that? Yeah, it's very weird. These things, all of them are called Hagadah. So the question is, what does it mean when he says Devarim ha'elu kulan? What do you think? Yeah.
Either he means just these three things.
Right. One possibility is just these three.
Or he means all the things that he said here.
Meaning
like all the whole Sipur.
Yeah. I mean,
and I guess the question would be, if you add on to this, is that also called Hagadah, or it's only this?
Yeah. And what does he even mean though? It's called Hagadah. Like, what is Hagadah? Like Hagadah in what context? Yeah. Say again. It sounds like Hagadah and Sipur are different things, right? Sipur is the
Well, Hagadah seems to be like that which you do the Sipur with.
That's definitely how we use the word Hagadah, right? Like the text of the Hagadah.
Mm-hmm.
But Ramielu.
I think Sipur.
You mean in this halacha here? Yeah, I mean that's a machlokes rishonim. Rambam sounds like he's saying Sipur, right? Yeah. You're not yote Sipur if you don't say these three things. The Ramban says you're not yote. Not that you're. First of all, he says it's not that you're not yote. It's that you're not yote b'shlei muta, but you're not yote Pesach if you don't explain Pesach. You're not yote Mata if you don't explain Mata and then Maror also. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this last clause can't be going just on those three things.
I also think so. Yeah.
Because he wouldn't say kulan.
Yeah, he wouldn't say kulan. He would just say ushlosha devarim ha'elu.
Yeah.
Or Amira b'shlosha devarim elu, and Hagadah. Yeah.
Or even the devarim ha'elu nikra and Hagadah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's reasonable to assume it's only Dalet and Hay. Only Dalet and Hay because everything else is dispensable.
And they're not words.
They're not words. It's not like a text. Yeah. These are like, this is a specific text that you have to say in a way.
Right. Or the shinoi.
Yeah. I mean, you could include the shinoi in there also because I suppose that is v'higar lebincha, but it's not ma'akev. It's not like you have to go through and do shinuim and say manashtana in order, well, actually, maybe you can argue that you do.
Oh, is that what he's saying? Maybe that
No.
Devar, like all of these are called Hagadah, like.
That could be, yeah. I mean, maybe because I see the footnote says it's halachos beis through hay, and beis is where he introduces mitzvah lo di'lebanim afilu lo shalush nemar b'higarta lebincha. Yeah, so I think that makes most sense.
Yeah.
So wait, if you don't have a ben,
No, so yeah, that's why I initially thought it was messed up that if you don't have a ben, we know you can fulfill the mitzvah without a ben,
Yeah.
right? The mitzvah of Sipur without a ben.
right? It seems like you don't have to do all these particulars.
Yeah, meaning the. Oh no, so that I'm not sure about.
Well,
I think
if this is all Hagadah, and then Hagadah just means the mitzvah of the mitzvah.
yeah, if it meant that, then you would be right. Yeah, but I don't. That's a stretch to me. That even though I see it makes sense as it's coming from the patak. You got
No,
it.
that even doesn't make sense from the bottom.
Yeah.
You're not notating, you don't say.
Yeah.
You'll say Hagadah to the mitzvah.
Are you say Sipur though?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm
saying
Isn't that?
It's a possibility, it's okay, yeah.
No, one else can see one.
So there's two things. Didn't he say?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't say from this one and one this one.
What?
Yeah.
No, it's two facets of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's talking about like the product, and then there's talking about like the cleaving.
He means the masculine with Muslim sign.
I'm saying you only find that in
The
the
product.
Plot art.
Not like Plutarch the historian. Yeah.
These or something.
Yeah, if you don't have a son, then you're.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
You're missing. It's not visual.
But this is really the question here: is the Hagadah lebincha only the son aspect, or is it like you were saying at one point in this conversation the method of doing Sipur?
Oh. Wait.
Meaning like, okay, just factually, if you don't have a son, the only thing you're not doing, I think, according to the Rambam, is you're not doing the shinuyim and like the and that's it, really, right?
No, I'm not fucking. No,
You're asking the question to yourself.
Right.
Yeah. I'm interested.
Lapi dato shaben avi malamdo, right? You're not doing that either.
Yeah. Right.
But presumably you are doing
Oh, you
the.
are. You know that.
Yeah. Presumably you still are doing the maskil b'gnus u'musayim b'shavach and the drushos
Supposed
Oh,
and
yeah.
still dvarim elu.
One thing you're not, you're not looking at when you're done. So often.
Well, there's definitely not. You'll say the mitzvah lo di'lebanim.
Yeah.
You're not going to say that.
And the difficult thing also remember that he brings in Hagadah lebincha twice. He's the Hagadah lebincha for mitzvah lo di'lebanim, and then in the Sefer Mitzvos, Hagadah lebincha is the source of Sipur, and also even here, it's the time. Yeah.
It sounds like the only source of people is really that. But after being source of
No,
people.
it's a force. Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, here's the horror is the main source.
You got to the mitzvah to tell you this mom.
Yeah, and the Sefer Mitzvos then it's the reverse. Yeah. So, yeah.
We're not learning.
Oh wow.
What is the Rambam? It's the Rambam.
Don't try to make the Rambam into an internal family system. Yeah. Oh, there's the Sefer Mitzvos Rambam. You have to talk to him in a certain way, and yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, the biggest problem is all of these things are called Hagadah. Well, wait. What's Hagadah, Rambam? Like, and I also don't think we could look at this as divorced from the fact that if you skip to page after Parates, page 756.
Yes,
He says, Nosach HaHagadah, Nosach HaHagadah shenahagu ba Yisrael b'zman hagalos kaku. So this is the text of the Hagadah.
Yeah.
So the Rambam himself uses the word Hagadah and to refer to the text of the Hagadah,
Yeah.
And it's a lot more than just those. Now that part's not a problem because you could say that the essence of the Hagadah is the Arami Ovid Avi and Maskil Lunus and Musayim B'Shavach and like the three things, but like it would be really hard to say that Hagadah is being used in two completely separate ways,
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I guess the thing is, you would still read it as this Hagadah is just what you do with the pun.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. Okay. Tough. All right, let's go on. And this is what we read. We read it last night in the news stuff. But let's Halacha Vav. We didn't read it here. Okay, we're back in Perek Shvi'i Halacha Vav. Kol davar chayv adam laharos es atzmo kiluhu ba'atzmo yatsa ata mishibun mitrayim. Each and every generation, a person is obligated to show off, right? To make himself appear as though he himself left now from the subjugation of Mitzrayim. As it is stated, he took us out of there. Meaning that you have to look at it as something that happens to yourself, right? And regarding this, it was commanded in the Torah, you should remember that you were a slave. Now, what's the context of that? Trick question.
Oh, it's about like either like Shabbos or something, or like being nice to.
Yeah. So it's a trick question. Is it's lots of places.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not unique to. In other words, you might read this and think that is the source of a Pesach obligation that the Rambam's talking about here. But he's saying, I mean, it's interesting. Like, what's the nature of this view of whole door to door, and the fact that he quotes, like if you look even in the parentheses here, the Sham Hey Yudalit V'od, and I think there are a bunch of them. Like throughout the Torah, it sounds like he's saying like throughout the Torah, says you shall remember that you were a slave, and that is the nature of this. You're obligated to see yourself as though you left Mitzrayim. So is he even talking about the night of Pesach? Is what I'm asking. I'm just realizing this now. Behold over door. It's not saying Belel Chamisha Asar, you know.
Yeah.
And then you could say it means behold over door on Belel Chamisha Asar, but that's not what the Psukim indicate.
Well, you don't have a.
He's saying the Chamisha Asar. But like lots of different things.
Yeah, that's true, right?
He said you have to say these three things on the night of the 15th.
Yeah, yeah.
But you also.
Yeah, it is definitely. Yeah, it is definitely weird.
You also don't have a chiyuv to be Halachos every day of the year.
Yeah, maybe you do, right?
But what, like after like yours? Like,
Well, we don't know what Laharos means anyway, right?
I suppose.
Like practically speaking.
True.
Yeah, and if you do hold that this is Liros, which again does not seem to be plain shot. Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, I mentioned last night, Kafif, I think, says that he thinks it's Leraos,
Which means
to appear.
What's the
Nope.
like
Wait, Laharos? Nope. Yeah, yeah. But I think that's what Kafif is trying to resolve, because it's the same letters as Liros, but he wants to say it's Leraos. But I could be wrong. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, Laharos. Okay, so Kafif says. Oh, here we go. So in the Mishnah, B'ksav Yad Rabbeinu Atzmo. So in the Rambam's handwritten editions of the Mishnah, that does 5 on them, is it cuts with Lamed Reish Aleph Vav Tav. Okay. B'kan v'gamenu zakavada b'ksav Yad Teman Ksiv Laharos. So there is a discrepancy in the Rambam himself. That was what I remember. So in the Mishnah where he brings out his halacha, the Rambam wrote Lamed Reish Aleph Vav Tav, and then here it is Laharos. Okay. And then he says, "Uvakav laman Rabbeinu Hayach likro as a Mishnah." So he's saying, again, this is might be a Kafafian conspiracy theory. The Rambam is teaching us how to read it by writing it in both ways. Okay. So lama liros nukuda pataf v'lo chirik. That you read it with a pataf and not a chirik, not liros but leraos or laros. Sorry, laros is what it, not leraos. Laros maybe. Here's how his interpretation. It aluso alisuso v'simchas libo mishikror nafsho v'rucho min ha'alilio v'sficheha v'shikro gupo min ha'ismakrut la'avdus l'chosugeha tzrichim lios boltim v'nibatim v'lorak v'sisrei levavo. So in my own words, that means that the feelings that you have at the bodily and spiritual freedom have to manifest themselves and not just be kept inside. So that's what it means to demonstrate, not like to play act, demonstrate, but to like make manifest. I don't think that's a bad shot. Like if you're gonna say liros and laharos, but yeah, I think it's
Like, if you really knew about Hara, and you knew it, rather than have to write.
well, I mean, I do think it's the point. I follow him up until the point where he says that the Rambam holds that the correct shiur of the Mishnah is without the hay, and that in apparently all the authentic manuscripts of the Rambam, it's with the hay. But then when he's saying that the Rambam is trying to teach us how to read it, that sounds a little conspiracy theory.
Yeah, why did you have to write welcome to Mishnah?
Well, it was Lara.
Yeah, I guess because he's saying that he holds that in the Mishnah it's liros. Let's see in the Rambam.
Why is it Lara's in the Mishnah? It's Lara.
Oh, Laros, yeah, Laros, yeah.
And then,
yeah, that's what he's saying. Yeah, you're
And it
right.
has the same meaning as Lahara, so he just whatever.
Yeah. Meaning, I guess, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, but still, the question is like, why didn't the Rambam write that for when you codified it?
No, because it means exactly the same thing.
But then make it the same then, you know? Especially because the Rambam's in the habit of using the lesson of the
Wasn't he
prime
doing it from
source.
heart, though?
Was that?
Isn't he doing it from heart? Writing the Torah?
No, not Mishnah Torah, no.
Is it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you might be thinking of parts of the Pirush Mishnah he wrote when he was on the run.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The Mishnah Torah he wrote over a long period of time. Yeah, it says without hay. But does he say anything here? No, the Ram doesn't say anything here.
Yeah, wait, why is that crazy that he just Liros is too it could be read is too ambiguous?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
That's a good shot. That's a good shot.
That's not what I was saying originally, but
Yeah, that's a good shot. I
Yeah.
mean, the premise is like this, right?
Yeah.
That the real way to read it is Laros.
Yeah.
But if you wrote that without Nekudos in the Mishnah Torah,
it's ambiguous.
you might think it's Liros. And so Laharos means the same as Laros, but he's making it not ambiguous. Yeah. I buy that.
Is that what Abba's saying, or is
That could be what he's saying. Maybe he's not being conspiracy theory, like I said.
Okay.
Yeah. But what about when he said that there's a hidden map on the back of the Sipur? Yeah.
not
Right.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we didn't finish reading the halacha. Kolomar. Ilu ata b'atzmecha hayisa eved v'yatas lecherus v'nifteta. Meaning today, as if you yourself were a slave and you went out to freedom and were redeemed.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, so what does it mean? Like practically, what's the person do?
Well, we still don't know if this is on the night of Pesach, and I hear the questions on both sides. On the one hand, he doesn't say B'chamisha Asar, and the Psukim don't specify the night of Pesach. On the other hand, this is in the halachos of the seder. But according to Kafat, he's saying that you have to basically, it has to be manifest. You have to make it manifest that you view yourself as a redeemed slave, as a free slave. He doesn't say anything in the Mishnah, unfortunately. When was the Mishnah written down? In the 10th paragraph of Psachim, like that? Yeah, 10th, yeah, and it's towards the end. Yeah, it does, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not really gonna have to turn the wrong on that like this.
Yeah, but in other words like this, but what's the source of this chiyuv? Which is the question you can ask on the Mishnah itself. Because the Mishnah doesn't quote any psukim. And the fact that the Rambam quotes from like all over, all of these was the heart of Hayita, you know, seems to indicate that he holds that this is like you should always do this, you know?
Yeah.
And take on the confidence around that, and you can see it not in that big house.
No. The
Yeah, good question. All right, let's stop here for today.
And
And tonight.